All right, good afternoon, good Sunday evening. I'm McKinley Struther. I am here along Interstate 81. We're on the side of the interstate, actually. We want to give you a look at the residual backups from the crash that happened earlier today. Hopefully you have that free 10 News app downloaded. If you do, I know you got that push alert earlier about the crash in Roanoke County along Interstate 81 involving tractor trailers. And here's the residual backup from that. I mean, there's really nowhere for them to go. And here's the thing. If you heard me reporting on TV just a few minutes ago, the crash is clear. In fact, they've reopened some portions of the interstate. It was closed at one point because they needed to get in and clear things up. I'll explain that process for you in just a second. But this is the residual backup. And what's happening here is this direction. I don't want to step onto let me actually walk alongside. Yeah, thank you. I will try my best, Maxine. The snow is so deep. I would show you how deep it is on the side of the interstate, but it's hard to see. But like you see these cars making their way along Interstate 81 right now. They are going south. The traffic that you see moving right now, this is Interstate 81 south heading to like Montgomery County. You see the backups over there, those red lights? That's Interstate 81 north. That's heading towards Roanoke County, Roanoke City, Botetourt County. I am being pelted with ice pellets. I mean, slammed with ice pellets right now. But either way, what's happening is just up the hill there. Because if you saw me on TV, unfortunately, we weren't able to show you this backup because there's a gap in where we got on the interstate around Dixie Caverns and where the backup actually is. Because right over there, you know where I am. That's the rest stop right there. So just up the way there, what's happening? They're only cars are only going about 3 to 4 max at a time. And that is I am really being slammed with these ice pellets right now. But the point is, they want to avoid a collision like what happened earlier. So they're only going about 2 to 3 cars at a time. And because they're doing that, we're left with the backups that you see right here along Interstate 81. So let me explain to you what VDOT did earlier in the day. Because there were so many cars, here's the tough part, right? You know, whenever there is a crash anywhere and it causes backups, it's tough for first responders to actually get to the crash because there are all the cars blocking the way. But today, you also need to get snowplows out there because as these cars were sitting, precipitation is still falling. So they need to get those snowplows out there so they can get things like the tow truck so they could remove those vehicles from the roadway earlier today. So what they did was they shut down the interstate around the Dixie Caverns exit. They were forcing everyone off, taking 460 up to Salem. Wilson, I am on Interstate 81. This is somewhere in that weird space between Roanoke County and, well, not weird space, but you know how it's a few towns in between Roanoke County and Montgomery County. I'm somewhere in between there. The rest area is right across the street, right across the interstate from me right now. But anyway, back to the story. So what they were doing was they were diverting traffic off of the exit there at Dixie Caverns, sending them on 460, putting them back on the interstate up in Salem. The tough part with that was then the road was empty, like, if I can flip it around. No, I don't want to add an effect. I feel like someone struggling to use Facebook. There we go. Because there's not a lot of people traveling on the roadway, the snow, as it's falling, is just continuing to pile up. So then what they needed to do was they needed to get the snow plows onto the roadway that had been empty and clear that out before they can open traffic. Or open the roadway back up to traffic. Thank you, Ironto. That's where I am. I'm just up from Ironto. In fact, that's probably about 2 miles up the way from me right now. And so, so the roadway is back open as far as I know. When I talked to VDOT earlier, that was their main goal, was getting that roadway back open. But the tough thing is, because these 18-wheelers and other vehicles don't want to be in a crash, what they're doing is they are only going about 2 to 3 cars at a time. So it's leading to this backup. So that is the issue here in Roanoke County and between Roanoke County, Montgomery County. Again, if you're just joining us, I'm McKinley Struther, a news reporter and anchor here at WSLS 10 News. I'm standing alongside Interstate 81. I appreciate everyone saying, be careful here. I'm okay. There are only a few cars traveling along Interstate 81 at this point. Fortunately, it appears some people have taken that advice and they're staying at home, but there are some people who have to work. They have to get to some places. So I don't fault them too much for being out on the roadways, but you just got to be careful. And unfortunately, if you are going to travel along Interstate 81 right now, this is what you're going to be met with. So if you have to go from Montgomery County into Roanoke, you guys know that on a sunny afternoon, there will be backups between Montgomery County and Roanoke, no matter which direction you're traveling. But today, you're certainly going to run into those. As mentioned, there was a crash earlier around, I think it was mile marker. I have to double check. I can't remember exactly the mile marker, but there was a crash earlier in Roanoke County along Interstate 81, just up the way from the Dixie Caverns exit. And that shut down the interstate for quite some time. And then what they had to do was they had to divert traffic off the interstate so that they could get emergency crews and snowplows to that crash. And then they had to clear up the roadway that was left vacant for snow to pile up on. And now cars are only going a few at a time. Hey, Crystal, I wish I was watching the Dallas game with you. I'm here. There are like 300 of us here on this Facebook Live right now. I'm happy to be here with you guys. And I'm okay out here right now. I've been fortunate enough to be in the car most of the day, so it's been warm. But man, I'd rather be inside watching that Dallas game right now. But either way, this is what you're left with here on Interstate 81. I have another hit coming up on WSLS 10 News at 6:30. We have a special 1-hour newscast for you this evening. We'll get you another update on these road conditions here on 81. Do me a favor. Stay home with Crystal and watch the game. Stay home. I don't want you guys to be stuck out here in this. I saw a couple of folks earlier. A guy said he was from New York. He said he was used to the snow. Well, he still found himself on the side of the road. He was stuck. So it's losing. Come on, Crystal. I don't want to hear that bad news right now. I'm already out here in this snowstorm. But either way, even the most experienced drivers, they're having issues with this. You know, Patricia, this essentially is a parking lot. I mean, this Benjamin Moore truck right here, it's there now. You see it creeping up. It was only about right there where you see that tree since I've been on Facebook Live. So this essentially is a parking lot. You can see just over the interstate. That's where the rest area is. A lot of them have just said, forget it, that's where we're going to stay. But some people are still making it. Again, I don't fault them. They have things that they have to do. So, but if you are going to go out, just make sure that you're being careful. Give yourself some extra time. Oh, can you see that vehicle? I didn't have time to turn my camera around, but they were flying up the interstate. Don't be that person. Take your time as you go out. Expect delays, especially if you're driving along Interstate 81 from Montgomery County to Roanoke. You're going to hit delays. 460 may be an alternate route, but of course, as more people take that alternate route, that's going to back up. And even that, it really isn't all that clear. So just be safe if you have to go out tonight. First thing in the morning, especially be careful. And it sounded like from a meteorologist, Jeff Hanowich report, we may not really have a lot of time to thaw out until Tuesday. So you want to make sure that you're careful on the roadways. We'll get you another check of these road conditions on TV at 6:30 if you're watching us instead of football. But if you are going to stay watching football, we'll be back here on Facebook Live throughout the rest of the evening, give you an update. You guys be safe. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.